Hello, welcome back to Bet Builders on Free Super Tips. I'm Statman Dave, and today I'm joined by Flav from the Fighting Cock to preview all the action in the Premier League in game week 14. Flav, before we dive into any of that action, can Spurs win the Premier League? Yes or no? Go.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. We'll move on. Today we're going to be talking about Spurs. We're going to be talking about the inconsistency of Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United versus Leeds. It's going to be a packed show. Of course, if you want to check out any more tips, go over to freesupertips.com and jump over there. But of course, if you're going to follow any of our bets that we build today, please gamble responsibly. Anyway, it's time to check out how we did last week. So game week 12, we had some winners. Will Brazier, of course, got a 14-1 Burnley to win an under 2.5 goals. FST as well came out with a winner in the same game. Burnley double chance, under 2.5 goals as well. And I picked up a little bit of a win in the Leicester City game. Of course, Leicester to win and Jamie Vardy to score anytime. First up, we're talking about the champions, their trip to Crystal Palace to face Roy Hodgson's men. Roy Hodgson has a terrible record against Jurgen Klopp. 5 games played in the Premier League, 5 defeats with an accurate score of 14-6. Is there anything that Roy could do different that this season could change it?
Most managers have had a pretty poor record against Klopp, so I wouldn't be too hard on them. This is the best I've seen Palace in many, many years. They've got Eze from QPR and obviously Zaha as well, and they're playing good football. Against Tottenham at the weekend, they more than deserved that draw. They forced Tottenham on the back foot, even though that was a way that Mourinho didn't really want to play. He said in the post-match press conference that he wanted to play football. He wanted to press, and the quality of Zaha and Eze made that very, very difficult. So yeah, they can definitely cause Liverpool's defence problems. You know, we've seen their injury issues. So this isn't a foregone conclusion at all.
I think it could be quite interesting as well with Benteke. Looks quite hungry, and I think his relationship with Zaha, just flicking the ball onto him, looks quite good. But let's talk about Liverpool. Of course, more injuries. Diogo Jota now out for 8 weeks, I think it is. Added to that long list of other players. Thiago should be back by the end of the month, but Liverpool still need centre-halves, they need attackers. Do they go into the January transfer window and spend?
Well, it depends how speculative they want to be, really, because these are a defender, a central defender for sure. But the rest of the team is just about being patient. I think they're good enough to score goals. They haven't, they have all these injuries, and yet they're joint top. So it's not like, this is crisis mode. They're not Arsenal Football Club, are they? So it's. I think going out and spending maybe 50 million on a centre-back that's going to really
improve the team,
but solve problems short-term, but actually be useful in the long term. Other than that, I wouldn't go too big. They're still an absolute force in the Premier League. They'll still be there at the end of the season. And I think it's just a case of let's just manage. Jones in midfield, I thought it's been fantastic coming in. So they've got the players, they've got the squad, and look, injuries happen. You've got to deal with them. All right, they've got way more than their fair share, but they're good enough to get through it. They're still a force, like I say.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. Let's take a look at the bets, Flav. Have you backed Liverpool in this game against Crystal Palace? And that's the big question that we want to answer here. So, Flav, let's take a look at your bet. You've got Liverpool to win the game, Salah anytime, and of course Mane anytime. Yeah,
despite their injury crisis, they've still got 2 of the best forwards in world football. Palace are decent, and like I said, they've been much improved, but Liverpool all day, 2-0.
It's an interesting one. Of course, Mohamed Salah has been in very good form when playing Crystal Palace. He's been directly involved in 6 goals in his last 3 Premier League games. 3 goals, 3 assists. Could be assisting Mane, scoring goals for himself. I do like that bet. I think this is the time where Liverpool need to kick on. Christmas is a big period for any champions-elect. Liverpool obviously in the race massively. I've also backed 2 of those as well in my bet. I've gone Liverpool to win the game and Salah anytime, but also Zaha. Zaha's really got a good record against the bigger sides. He kind of likes to turn up in these bigger games. Hungry. Potentially a penalty. We're looking at pulling one of those centre-backs wide.
Yeah, definitely. And, Liverpool's defence is there to get out. And as we said, Palace are good in attack. And Zaha's their best outlet. So, yeah, definitely can cause problems.
Definitely. Let's take a look at Free Super Tips Bet Builder as well, because they usually pull out some absolute bangers. Liverpool to win the game, both teams to score, and then Mane anytime. So similar. Yeah. Back in maybe Mane to arrive at the back post.
Yeah, indeed. He's a quality player. So, yeah, definitely can do some damage as well.
So next up, we've got to talk about Man City's trip to Southampton. This is going to be a tough game for Guardiola.
Yeah. I mean, Guardiola is having a tough season by his standards. I think his insistence on keeping the ball and passing around the box is just, not only is it not working to the extent as it has done previously, and you can't deny it's a success that Pep Guardiola's had, but it's so boring to watch. I've got to say this. Manchester City are the most boring team in the league, but hands down, I'd rather watch Burnley than Man City. It's that for me, so dull. And, when you want to play football that way, then, and it doesn't quite work, you need a plan B, and that's something that Pep Guardiola doesn't seem to have. Southampton have been fantastic. Hasenhüttl is an excellent manager. On the contrary, they play fantastic, interesting football. I might have been a little bit harsh on Man City, but yeah, like I say, this is a test. The best way to play City isn't to, go at them and, just press them too much, because they are so good at keeping the ball. So it will be a test. Southampton are a great side. So it's a tough one to call.
It really is. I think the interesting side with the contrasting styles as well. Guardiola, like you're saying, it's slow pedestrian. I think David Silva's obviously a massive, massive miss. I think 2 defensive midfielders is the wrong thing for Guardiola's sides. They lack that. The two inside channels covered by David Silva and De Bruyne. Now there's just De Bruyne operating by himself, trying to do everything.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big problem. Of course, Che Adams embarrassed Ederson the last time the sides met in June with that lovely lob. Could be a thing there. But I think the big thing for City is he was left on the bench in that 1-0 defeat that happened post-restart. He's got to be playing Saturday.
Yeah, I've got him to score, actually.
You got him to score and you got him to play. So let's dive straight into the bet. That is a lovely link there. So let's see what you've gone. So you've gone Southampton to win the game, both teams to score, and Che Adams any time.
Yeah, Man City will score. They'll find a way through. Che Adams, like you say, has caused absolute horrors for City in the past, and he's underrated. Actually, he plays a fantastic role as a foil to Ings, and I really rate him, and I can see him scoring in this game. Adds a bit of value as well to the bet. Yeah,
that is a tasty 16-1. That is a big bet that you've built.
It was either Che Adams or Ings, and I just thought, let's be bold.
Okay, well, I've been a little bit more defensive in my bet. I have backed Danny Ings to score any time. 6 goals and 4 assists in the Premier League this season. Still with injury, still scoring all the goals, looking good. But I think I'm going to be backing Man City. I think with De Bruyne, he's starting to really come into form this season. He's adding around 7 shots per game to City's attack in terms of creating and taking them himself. And you're looking at the table of, in terms of shots taken. City are ranked 3rd in terms of most shots taken, and they've conceded the fewest shots on their goal. I think that's eventually got to start turning into some results. They're doing the things right, but then they're also, like you're saying, doesn't really look right.
Well, it's what you like, really. I can't, on a personal preference, whenever Man City play, I kind of have to force myself to watch it. But yeah, as like you say, if you look at their XG, they're in the wrong position. They will finish in the top 4. They're predicted to win the league if you look at some algorithms out there that project finishes. So they're definitely not, I think, they're 6th at the moment.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not a 6th place team. And Pep Guardiola will always find a way to get them back, winning matches. But it's
poised.
It's poised.
Very poised.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at 3 Super Tips bet. Are they going to go Man City or they're going Southampton? They go Man City to win the game. Over 2.5 and both teams to score. That's quite a nice defensive bet. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Well, it's there will be goals in the game. Southampton attack. Man City will score, and Man City are likely to win. So yeah, it's a good bet.
Now we've got to talk about Arsenal again. Winless in 5, lost the North London derby, lost to Burnley for the first time in Premier League history. Flav, what's going wrong? Everything?
Everything. It's so hard, isn't it? Because Arteta has won an FA Cup.
Yeah.
They did really well last season. Everyone was tipping them to, if not finishing the top 4, be quite close. And they find themselves in 15th in the league. Worse than their league position is the worry about how they lack any type of penetration or creativity. They've got a front line that cost an absolute fortune. Aubameyang's just signed a deal worth somewhere between £300,000 and £400,000 a week, 3-year deal. Williams on £220 a week for a 3-year deal, and they're not creating any chances. So you can understand some of the reaction from Arsenal fans that they don't know what's going on. Their issue, though, is their fixture list is not very kind. There are just game after game.
Worse.
Doesn't it? Yeah, game after game, and the one at the weekend especially, where you could see them losing them all. And it's just about how long Arteta's got, really.
So I've got a tweet that I want to bring up. This is a Manchester United tweet.
Yeah.
David Moyes says MUFC must improve in a number of areas, including passing, creating chances and defending. I think that is now applicable to Arsenal Football Club.
They need to, in every level. I mean, they've got 2 players, I think, that are sort of, they can say that they're doing a good job. Obviously, Partey came in and looked good. But that was, the injury where he forced Partey back on. Like, he shouldn't have left the midfield against Tottenham when we broke and scored. They shouldn't have just abandoned. Just take up space.
You go down. Whatever it is.
He walked on. Arteta just pushed him back onto the pitch. He sprinted and is now. So it just. Arteta, this job was too big for him, I think.
For his first job in management, it's pretty big. One of the biggest teams in the Premier League over the Premier League era.
Yeah.
You're talking going from being an assistant manager to a full-time manager.
The expectation is huge.
It is quite difficult.
It's a really difficult job. The expectation is beyond what the football club actually can achieve. Their fans have been used to growing up for an era of unbridled success.
Dominance,
the invincible season. And now they're not that football club anymore.
See, I think the thing would have been better for Mikel Arteta for his career, stay under Pep Guardiola until Pep leaves, then take the job at Man City. I think that would have been better for him.
There would have been an easier transition.
Sure. The club would have given him a lot more resources. They would have had a better squad there.
Yeah.
And it felt like that was going to be the long-term play for Man City.
Well, do you know that? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and it may be that he does end up going back there because he doesn't seem to be long for Arsenal at all. But if you look at the question about Gerrard and whether or not he could take over at Liverpool, I think that would be the wrong decision as well.
Yeah.
But there needs to be a buffer between Jurgen Klopp and Gerrard because that's inevitable that he's going to end up with.
I think you've got Jurgen Klopp managerial and then you've got Steven Gerrard.
Right, so you need someone sort of much worse than Klopp.
Yeah,
just to get
if it went straight to Gerrard, they'd be absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Everton, the other side in Merseyside. They're so good resilience against Chelsea. Defended really well, forced them out wide to cross. Simple game plan, but effective against this Chelsea team without Hakim Ziyech.
Yeah.
The big thing though, Calvert-Lewin, again, fantastic. Involved in the winner, flicked the ball on, chased it himself, won the penalty. Top striker.
Absolutely top striker. And the only sort of trajectory that I can see that's comparable in the league was Harry Kane, where he went from almost nothing. He looks so mature, he looks so comfortable, he's happily leading the line. Every time he gets the ball, he thinks something's going to happen. He's a perfect target man, great finisher, and just looks the part. And, if you're an Everton fan, you've got who he'll turn into a 50, 60 million pound striker. If someone wanted to buy him, if he continues in this rich vein of form, and it's not just form, it's just the quality that he has, then you're talking 50, 60 million pounds from a youth academy product is incredible. And when it's one of your own, like Harry Kane is for Tottenham, it's even more special. It's a great player.
I think it's a good, contrast between the two players, and they're both exactly like you're saying. They've kind of exploded onto the scene, and then people have gone and disrespected them in a certain right in the first few seasons, but they both were, and Calvert-Lewin is now a top quality forward. And you're looking at United, you're looking at City, you're looking at any team around Europe that needs a centre forward. This guy's got everything.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I think long term, like you look at how Harry Kane's improved this season with his passing and his assisting, and that's Calvert-Lewin could pick that same trajectory up and eventually become a real complete forward.
The challenge they've got, and it's sort of like as a fan, it's frustrating to hear this stuff. But if Everton don't rise with his ambitions, then these clubs are going to be coming in. Luckily, with Harry Kane, when he's rise at Spurs, his trajectory was matched by the club. So. Yeah, but they got him now, and they
have got him. But is he in your bet? That's the big question. Have you backed Calvert-Lewin to score against Arsenal?
I have. Of course I have. Right, I've gone big.
33-1.
Right. Yeah, look,
I like it. I'm not complaining. It's bold.
It is bold. I don't think you'll see the same Everton against Chelsea as you saw against. Sorry, you won't see the same against Arsenal as you saw against Everton. They'll be less pragmatic and more open.
Yeah.
I don't think that Arsenal can cope with Allan in midfield and Doucouré as well. So defensive sound at Everton. Arsenal's is all over the place. Away, Goodison. I went for correct score, which is always
bold. That's what I like. It's like precision.
Yeah, but in my head it just pops in 3-0. 3-0 Everton.
3-0. So we'll see if that happens at the weekend. I've gone slightly different. I'm backing Calvert-Lewin to score anytime. I think that's a really good bet. Look at anything XG, shots, Everton, he's just the best player for them. I've also gone to Aubameyang. So since Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's new contract was announced on September the 16th, he scored a single Premier League goal for Arsenal. 6 centre-backs have scored more goals than him.
Yeah. Well, he scored an own goal the other day, so...
That's a good point. Let's take a look at free super tips bets. They've gone something slightly different. They're going to be back in Arsenal. They're going Everton to win the game under 4 goals and Calvert-Lewin any time.
Yeah, it's just Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Under 4 goals. Yeah, I mean, I said 3-0, but Arsenal just don't score. So, even if it is a 3-0 trouncing, it's still under 4 goals. So, yeah, Everton to win as well.
Moving on to the evening kickoff on Saturday, Newcastle are playing Fulham. Fulham have showed a little bit more resilience in recent weeks. They only conceded 3 goals against Man City and Liverpool. That's pretty decent. But going forward, they still struggle. Is it time to release Mitrovic?
No, I mean, I think they've been working. Yeah, I mean, that's always useful. I don't think Mitrovic on his own saves Fulham, although he is, a very good striker. And we've seen him the last time they were in the Premier League that he's more than capable of leading the line. But I actually quite like Lookman. I like what he's brought, and obviously Loftus-Cheek. He's really transformed their the way they play and what they can potential to achieve. I think when you see the quality in the dressing room that weren't there at the start of the season, the acquisitions that Fulham made actually, in contrast to what they did the first time in the Premier League, means that it feels like they finally get it. They understand the flow of the Premier League. They're starting to fit into it. Scott Parker, they obviously want to play for him. And out of the bottom 3, they look like the most likely to get out at the moment. I thought against Liverpool they were unlucky.
Yeah, I thought they played well against Man City as well. I thought they held the ball well. The system was quite good. It restricted them.
Yeah,
it's about these. I think it's about these types of games. Newcastle, Fulham. Yes. They've got to win these games if they want to stay in the Prem. Is Fulham in your bet? Is the question, or are you going to go with Newcastle?
I actually went with a draw.
Sitting on the fence.
Yeah, well,
disgraceful. But you've not in terms of backing Lookman and backing Callum Wilson to score.
But I love Lookman's. He's been all over the place. He's very experienced.
Always been a talented player as well.
Yeah, Charlton when he broke through at 16, I think. Spurs were looking at him. He's gone to Germany. Performed well there. He's not shirked the challenge of playing with Fulham in the Premier League. It's for me their main man for still a young player. I like the look of him, and he's got over that early penalty embarrassment and lack of experience for a little bit. To just was he trying Panenka? Yeah, man. What you got? If you do that, you got to be 100% sure. And maybe he's learned from that. But I also like Wilson. I thought he's fantastic at Bournemouth, and it's a great signing for Newcastle as well. I went big again, picking the right scorers.
Due a goal, I think, Callum Wilson, in a way.
Yeah.
Due a few goals. Due a bit of a run. Penalties.
He's involved in everything.
Yeah.
He's involved every time Newcastle go forward. He's involved, and while Fulham have been a little bit more secure, like you say, didn't concede that many goals against Liverpool and City. Every time Newcastle go forward, Wilson's involved, so he's always worth
Wilson, Jolinton, that front two is looking quite nice. I've actually backed Newcastle in my bet builder. I just think these are the types of results they're picking up this season. So you're thinking they beat Everton, they beat West Brom, they beat Palace, they beat Burnley, they beat West Ham.
Yeah.
Similar type of category, like these scrappy kind of mid to lower table games. Newcastle seem to be doing quite well this season, given their shape, their defensive nature. The 2 forwards are now playing Jolinton and Wilson. I do like that. And I think Wilson, like we sort of mentioned, he's a top quality forward. And when Newcastle win, he's the guy that usually carries them to victory. So I just feel like this is the game right now. Let's take a look at Free Super Tips Bet Builder as well, see where they're going down. They're going Newcastle draw double chance, both teams to score, and then Wilson anytime. So a bit of a combination between our bets.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all on the same page, aren't we? Except that I'm the only one that's bold enough to pick 2 goal scorers. So.
To Sunday for a potential snooze fest. We've got Brighton versus Sheffield United. Flav, how do you see this one going?
Well, I quite like Brighton. I quite like the way they're playing. I think they're in a false position. Sheffield United, I've never seen a transformation from what seemed like such a coherent together bunch of players into what this is now.
The mess that is.
Yeah, lost 10 out of the first 11.
It's been sloppy.
They are down. They're down already. And
have you killed them already? Are you saying they're going to lose against Brighton?
Absolutely going to lose against
Let's
Brighton.
dive into your bet, Flav. Let's see what you got. You got correct score 2-0 again. Bold lad.
Yeah.
Mo pay anytime.
Yeah. I mean, he's a decent player against this shambles that is Sheffield United. It just makes sense to put Brighton's best forward as
goal scorer.
Yeah.
I think my bet's kind of similar. If your bet comes off, my bet comes off. I've gone Brighton to win under 2.5 goals in a game. I think, given Brighton's ability to hold the ball and restrict their opponents from taking shots, but also their lack of chance conversion that we've seen over and over again in the Premier League this season.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be a tight affair, but I can see Brighton pulling it off. Like Sheffield United this season, they lack so much. Let's take a look at Free Super Tips Bet as well. Let's quickly have a little bit of a dive into theirs. They've gone with a draw and under 2.5 goals, so a 1-1 0-0 draw. It's going to be an exciting one on Sunday. Right, we spoke about the teams that you don't like, Flav. Arsenal. Yeah. Now it's time to talk about Tottenham Hotspur, the team that you do like. They face Leicester City in the Premier League. Do you think Mourinho's going to go into this game with confidence?
I think he goes into every game with confidence. I like what he said multiple times this season, is that we're not in the title race. We're just simply trying to win every game. You can't win every game, obviously, as we saw against Palace, who drew that one, but should have probably snatched it. He just approaches every game. The tactic is adjusted slightly depending on who you're playing, but his most comfortable way of playing is on the counter attack. We've seen against Manchester United, against City, Arsenal, and Leicester last season, that if you come out and try and play against Spurs, there will be opportunities for Kane and Son, who have been absolutely on fire. 33 goals together,
closing in on the Drogba and
Yeah.
Frank Lampard record, which we'll see at the end of the season for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
These two are just on another level together.
Well, the other, yeah. I mean, it's the symbiosis that exists between them is like I've never seen
It's
at
a lovely
Spurs. Word. Yeah, well, thank you. There's another record that Kane's going to be after, which is Thierry Henry's. Is it 20 goals?
It's 20 goals, 20 assists.
Yeah, I think he's got 24 goals and 20 assists. I might be wrong, but that's what Kane's after, and he's just breaking records all the time.
If he gets that would be
madness.
The most complete forward performance we've seen in the Premier League, and probably would deserve to win the title there. That is the big one. We asked you before at the start of the show, can Spurs win the league? Do you realistically think, look, the competition, we're seeing City struggle, we're seeing Liverpool have an injury problem.
Yeah.
Man United are there, potentially, if they
Yeah.
win their games in hand and push forward. But nobody has done a Liverpool or done a Man City in previous years where there's dominant. It's like that Leicester City season. That's where it is.
A lot of people are saying that, and I can see the comparison. And I would say that if Leicester City can do it with their squad and with the quality of their manager, then there's absolutely no reason why Spurs can't replicate that. I do take a little bit of an umbrage that's like Spurs are doing a Leicester, when Spurs in their own right are a ginormous football club. But it's fine. I get it. And look, this is a big. This is a great opportunity, right? And sometimes when you're a club the size of Spurs, and we said this on the podcast a lot when Pochettino is, if we can just maintain this level of form and accruing these points over a season, there'll be one where everyone falls away, and that's the one we can win the league. Yeah. So it's early days still. We're roughly a quarter away through the season, and Spurs are performing well. We're getting the results. And we're very difficult to score against, and we're scoring goals. So why not? What's the point?
Not?
And what's the point if you're not hopeful and optimistic?
Exactly.
It's because it hurts a lot when it doesn't go right, isn't it?
You've got to believe this day and age. I think the big thing as well with this game especially, Jamie Vardy loves spacing behind defences.
He does.
Mourinho doesn't like giving spacing behind defences at the moment.
No, he doesn't.
Which is going to be quite a contrast there. Let's dive into the bets and see who you're backing. I imagine it's going to be a Leicester City 3-0 win. Very precise from you, Flav, as always. You've gone Spurs to win the game. Kane anytime, Son anytime, Vardy anytime.
Right. Look, that's and that you can potentially get more for that, right?
That is nice.
But guaranteed.
Hold on.
Guaranteed, pretty much
guaranteed. Well, okay, gamble responsibly, guys. If you're going to follow
Flav's
bet builder.
Is printing money. Don't spend more. Don't spend any more than you can afford. But that is like printing money.
So I'm going to counter this, right, by giving my opinion on this bet. So this is great.
Yes.
You're looking at Harry Kane's record, right? 9 games against Leicester City in the Premier League. 14 goals.
He loves it.
14. He loved his favourite opposition.
It's what they dug him out when he was on loan there. They said he was useless. So.
So he's a bit still got that fire in his belly.
Absolutely.
Human Son, you can't really go against him this season.
If we score, it's one of them two, and we're going to score more than 2. So.
Absolutely. The only thing I'd say about Jamie Vardy, he's about 5 in 13 versus Spurs. Usually deal with him quite well, and I do think with Mourinho, can deal with him even worse in terms of you thinking the
nullifying his game.
Yeah, like as soon as you drop into the back defensive third, back 6, whatever you want to describe it as, it's very nice. Like I appreciate the low block, but I can't see the space being there for Vardy. Maddison would be the potential curveball. You're considering danger from range. Scored more goals than any of the players since the 2017-18 season.
Yeah,
could be the guy to unlock the door.
Can't change it now, but I think you're right, Maddison.
Okay, that's okay. No, we just had to go through the bet and open it up. But let's jump into my bet. I've gone with Spurs and just Harry Kane anytime. 2-1. Simple as you like.
A bit boring, isn't it?
But that's me. I'm a boring character.
That's not true.
But that's again the Kane stats we mentioned before previously. Spurs are just they're on the run, aren't they? I think they're looking good under Jose Mourinho.
Matt, you've got to start. What do you think? If we beat Leicester,
I had previously said on the show, you had a run of 6 games.
Yeah.
The likes of Liverpool, Man City,
Chelsea away.
If you come out there with a number of wins and you're still within it, absolutely. Because this is the hardest run of your season.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah. Get through this period, it's literally churning. That's the only danger, is you got to churn the results against the weaker side. You've seen you
agreed.
beat like Burnley 1-0, you beat Brighton 2-1.
2-1, no, you're right.
But
Newcastle 1-0.
what did Leicester City do that season? They won the
Same.
league. They
That
won
same
1-0 many times. So let's take a look at FST's bet for this as well. They've gone Spurs to win the game, Kane, Son. So basically, you're on the extreme, I'm at the defensive, and then this is nice in the middle.
Son, can't answer that.
Right, 4 o'clock.
Yep.
On Sunday, 30 minutes until the rivalry resumes. Manchester United versus Leeds.
Yeah.
Last time, Leeds are in the Premier League, of course. A few people might not have been, as much into football, maybe been a bit younger. Yep. What is the rivalry like?
It's they hate each other. They absolutely hate each other. But everybody hates Leeds. But Man United especially hates Leeds. Leeds and Chelsea. They are. It's great that it's back. It's a shame that the fans are not going to be in there, because the atmosphere would have been fantastic. But yeah, no, massive rivalry, huge.
Really big. I think it's one of those teams. It's like Manchester City and Liverpool that Man United fans tend to hate.
Do you have any? Yeah. Do you get any? Have you got any nerves going into it at all?
No, I'm excited. Last time Man United played Leeds, FA Cup, Jermaine Beckford scored a goal and Leeds actually won.
That's right, I remember.
But I actually went to Ellen Road away, and Michael Owen scored in a 2-1 win. So again, mixed contrasts in games that I've been to.
Don't remember that one. I remember the Leeds winning. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure either. But anyway, let's move on to the styles. Leeds United like the ball. They like playing with it. Man United seem suited for the counter. That kind of just feels like Man United are going to win the game then.
I feel like you are going to win the game. I respect Bielsa's approach to football.
I respect him.
I do, because they've just come up. There's probably more sort of practical ways to play and ensure that you will stay up. The safer ways, yeah. But he wants to play football properly, and that's probably why Leeds will be close.
Why they've got many fans around the country, because they play football the right way.
No, but that's nonsense as well, isn't it? So, Leeds, no one likes Leeds. It's just because Bielsa's there. Don't suddenly go, well, they're not dirty Leeds anymore. they're just Leeds. To me, they'll always be the Leeds United I grew up with. But I just think that Bielsa's a little bit too gung-ho. That said, I'd much rather watch Leeds than a Man City game. So carry on, and I'm not bothered if they go down. So it's fine.
Fair enough. I think the interesting side there, Marcus Rashford could be massive. His pacing behind defences.
Yeah.
We saw Jamie Vardy do a similar thing, didn't we, in the recent league game where they settled with 3 at the back, Vardy up top with Harvey Barnes, and they pinged 2 or 3 balls over the top in the first 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think perhaps one behind Tottenham. I think Man United are an incredible attacking side, counter-attacking side, I should say. You've got the pace, and if that doesn't work out, Cavani can come off the bench and be a target man. So I think you've got options. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is getting more stick than he should. I do actually think he's a good coach, and I think just the way Man United play is all wrong for Leeds. They'll lose possession in midfield, and Man United break and score. I can see it.
So you're back in Man United then? Simple as that. If you go in Leeds now, Flav, you've got to just retract all those statements. So Man United to win, and correct score 2-1. Yep. You've been bang on the correct scores this week. I like it. I do like it a lot. I've gone something slightly different, not as precise. I've gone Manchester United to win the game, because again, stylistically, I completely agree with what you're saying. Yep. Got Rashford any time, and I've also got over 2.5 goals. I think it could be a bit more of a...
Bit open.
Yeah, a little bit open. I think as soon as United go and jump on and take the lead, Leeds are going to come out and it's going to jump into that type of rhythm and
definitely a risk. Yeah, definitely a risk. Man United's defence as well can be got at. Leeds are open. I don't rate their defence. I don't. The way that they're set up doesn't lend itself to keeping clean sheets. So it's going to be an exciting game.
It is. I think the Rashford one's quite interesting. So pick Rashford out here because he did well against the progressive promoted sides last season. We're talking Norwich City. He scored 3 goals, got an assist in the 2 games. I just think it's quite similar in a way where Norwich were quite open on the break. Leeds are quite open on the break. So that's why I'm backing Marcus Rashford. Let's take a look at free super tips bet builder as well, because we need to get their expert opinion. They've gone over 3 goals in the game. Both teams have scored on Fernandes any time. So they are fence sitting.
Fernandes is fantastic when he plays well, which he does 99% of the time. Man United are much more dangerous. Shooting from range with a little bit of space outside the Leeds box. Great bet.
Another Midlands derby for Aston Villa. This time they're playing West Brom. West Brom, of course, have sacked Bilic. And Big Sam may return.
God, you've got to love it. And it just any team has a risk of going down. Just like, Big Sam.
Anyone got Tony Pulis' number?
He's got
a job, has it? Big Sam. Big Sam is next on the list.
It's like that. It's just like, Sam Allardyce? Yeah, all right, go on.
Let's do it.
And it probably will keep them up.
Yep.
They'll become percentage football. It's like an unfashionable Jose Mourinho, essentially.
It's quite interesting because remember West Brom, I don't know, a few years ago, it's probably like 5-10 years ago now. Remember when Pulis came at Christmas and they were 20th in the league and they stayed up?
Yeah.
They've done it before, they'll do it again.
Look, it works, and it works.
It works. So let's take a look at the bet. Are you backing West Brom and the new manager bounce?
I'm not. I'm saying a draw, actually, and there's
It's creative, this.
Well, I think there's a lot of hate between the two teams.
Yeah.
Boil
over.
Yeah, the call's lost a little bit. Perhaps don't play to a system. West Brom will be buoyed actually by their result at Eastlands. So, I'm looking at two cards because there was a little bit of needle between them.
Got some card stats for you actually.
Go on.
So in the Aston Villa Wolves game, had the most cards in a single game in the Premier League this season. 11 yellow cards.
Yeah.
So, and that was another derby.
Yeah.
So you could see it being a bit feisty. You've gone with a 0-0 draw, basically, is what we're saying here.
Yep.
So it's not one for the neutrals, but I do like it. I think a card bet in this game could be quite nice. Let's jump into my bet. I am going Aston Villa, but also under 3.5 goals. I think Villa might steal it. Two goals to nil, maybe something like that. I'm looking at someone like Ross Barkley, who's potentially back for their game. He's been quite key for them. He's created 2.5 chances per game for Villa. Of course, Jack Grealish is at 2.9, but he's sharing the burden.
Yep.
Two guys there, good creativity. Let's jump over to free super tips. Bet builder for this game. They've gone Villa double chance, under 3 goals.
Yeah, I can see it. Under 3 goals, not many goals, so it's similar to my bet, I think.
Our penultimate game sees Wolverhampton Wanderers travel up to Burnley for a pretty big game. Nuno Espirito Santo's men played really well against Chelsea.
Yep.
2-1 win, counter-attacking, classic, but it'll be very different against Burnley.
Yeah, because you can't counter-attack Burnley because they just don't come out. They hit balls long to Woods, and they've been a little bit more inventive since Rodriguez has come back into the team. It isn't just Barnes and Woods who are almost cut from the same cloth, but effective because you're smashing balls up to them, and it's hard for centre-backs to deal with them, especially modern centre-backs who are less prone to just putting their head in the way that they had done previously. But Wolves will have to find a way of unpicking this Burnley defence. And, again, Burnley coming off of good results recently. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Let's take a look at the bet straight away. I think there's a few guys I'm going to be mentioning that will be able to unpick the lock. But you've got both teams to score, Wood any time, and then Traore any time. Yeah,
so in terms of Wolves breaking through them, it'll be that driving run through Traore. I think. I just love watching him play. I don't know what, he's added a bit of end product to his game. Finally, he isn't just like the headless chicken he used to be. And I just love it when he picks the ball up and runs it, and will Burnley be able to stand up? That's the kind of goal I can see in my head changing the game.
Going down, changing the game.
But like I say, Wood, turf more, stick the ball into him.
Happy place.
Yeah.
So let's jump into my bet. I've gone for Wolves to actually win. I'm thinking on the counter-attack, I'm thinking Pedro Neto. I'm finally thinking Fabio Silva to grab a goal. This is going to be a big test if he starts Fabio Silva. He could, in fact, go with Neto, Podence and Traore like he finished the game against Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feel this is a game where Fabio Silva either starts or comes off the bench, nicks a goal at a really hard place in the Premier League. But looking at, you're looking at Pedro Neto, was fantastic against Chelsea, 85% pass accuracy, 4 shots, 4 fouls suffered, 2 dribbles, 2 chances created, and of course the winner in the game. And I just feel he is one of the best young players in the Premier League. And I think, like you're sort of saying, it's going to be a little bit of individual brilliance from one of the Wolves players carrying the ball, getting a shot away, either Traore or Pedro Neto to grab the goal. Let's take a look at free super tips bet for this game as well. They've gone for a draw and under 3 goals in the game. So
I can't see many goals in this. No. Oh, I see. Yeah, fair enough.
And finally, a London derby. West Ham up against Chelsea. What do you make of Frank Lampard as a manager? Is he a fraud?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes they look great. They're flat track bullies to some extent. Every time they play someone who's sort of decent, they seem to struggle. But that's not to say they haven't played really well against teams in the lower half of the division that have got results against bigger sides as well. So the answer is I don't know. Last season, they finished 4th, I think, in the Premier League last year, without signing a single player or one that they could use at the time. So Frank Lampard did well there. Is he a fraud? Definitely not. Is he good enough for Chelsea in that squad? Maybe not. They've lost a few in recent weeks. So almost everybody else. I think only Tottenham and Liverpool are
Consistent.
Yeah, not losing. So we'll see.
We will see. Let's jump into the bet straight away. Let's see where we're going to go, Chelsea or we're going to go West Ham United, because both teams have got something about them. So you've gone West Ham to win the game, both teams to score, and Bowen anytime.
Yeah.
Like it. Talk me through it. You can't laugh about it. You've got to talk me through why you've gone with this bet.
I just like going big. So
Okay, like 20 to 1, big.
Yes,
odds.
exactly. Well, do you like money?
Big winner, mate.
Big winner,
Big
exactly.
potential.
So West Ham have had a really good season so far, even against Manchester United, which they were unlucky.
What do you mean that ball didn't go out of play?
Well, I mean, it did. And basically their performance, if you look back at the results they've picked up this season, they're better than
I think they're quite suited. So I've gone against this, but I think they are quite suited to playing Chelsea. Chelsea do like to get the ball wide and cross it when they don't have Ziyech in the team. That's just their strategy. Reece James, Chilwell, cross after cross after cross. Didn't work against Spurs. We've seen it not work in recent games against Wolves when they're playing against three centre-backs. Balbuena, the likes of Ogbonna and Cresswell. If you're going to look to get anyone in that back three, you've got to target Cresswell, for sure. But then you've got to get someone to do that. And it does make sense. Jared Bowen as well, on the counter-attack's looking really good. He's probably due a goal in the sense that he's playing really well.
Yeah, he is. And sometimes, the players in the Championship, playing for unprofessional teams like Hull, don't get picked up because big clubs are scared to punt on them. And West Ham, that wouldn't be the kind of signing that would have had West Ham fans singing from the rooftops, but he's been fantastic.
Solid sign.
Yeah, dangerous, direct, and a nightmare to play against. So but I can't see Chelsea not scoring. But I see a big result for West Ham.
So I'm going to go the way I'm going to go Chelsea. Just talking about that record, in the 6 matches for Chelsea, they played top half opposition this season. No wins, 4 goals.
Yeah.
So not great. But Olivier Giroud, I think he's got to play every week.
Absolutely.
It's just the most suited for Chelsea's crossing style. If Chelsea are going to create like they do, get Olivier Giroud in the ball. Even throw Tammy Abraham on as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to do what they're doing, get the guy in there to score goals.
Giroud's better player than Abraham. You'd much rather. I mean, so Lampard's biggest failing is not playing this guy enough. He's always been good, but always been unfancied, always underrated, I think. And if he isn't starting between now and January, he should definitely demand a move because he deserves to be playing it week in, week out in the Premier League.
Absolutely. Look at his last 4 starts for Chelsea. Against Wolves, he scored. Everton, he didn't. Leeds, he scored 4 against Sevilla. It's just play the guy, the guy. Let's jump over to free Super Tips Bet Builder and see what they've got there. Got Chelsea to win the game, both teams score, and then Olivier Giroud any time. Nice. So there we have it. We have built some bets today. Thanks for coming along, Flav. Where can the people at home find you?
At Love the Shirt on Twitter.
Lovely, lovely stuff. Of course, if you want to check out some more bets that we've built, go on to freesupertips.com and, of course, subscribe and like this goddamn video. And we'll see you next time for Game Week 15 in the Premier League.